Okay, continuation from the chili recipe. This is how much I have taken out as far as like skimming off the fat from the top, so that's pretty good. I have a pan. Okay, relax. My oven is ready. It's at, oh, I don't know if you could see that, 400 degrees. And the chili, okay, I have a pan with like about a third cup of butter just spread around the top. I'm going to put this in the oven so that it'll just melt. Be careful, you don't want it to burn. You'd want to just leave it in like 4 minutes. And I have my cornbread recipe just mixed together. Everything that was on that list of ingredients, I just put everything together except for the 2 boxes. And I whipped the eggs, and I got a little volume with the eggs and the milk and the sour cream, and I mixed everything really well, and then I put the boxes of the Jiffy Mix in, so that way it doesn't get over mixed. So important to mix it that way and then let it sit like 5 minutes. And now we come back to the chili. So much noise. Anyway, I could probably take some more grease out of here, but I don't know. We're running low on time. So the chili is doing well. It probably can go another hour, but right now I need to get to work. I need to get to my nap and then go to work. So what I'm going to do is get a clean spoon, like a nice, soup spoon. I'm going to try to avoid the corn, but the corn's going to go in. I'm going to do about 2 spoons like this, maybe like 2 big tablespoons of the batter. Before the cornbread goes into the oven, the batter is going to go into my chili. There. The first one didn't completely empty. So, actually, this is a little bit of, what do you call that? It's more conservative to rinse off the spoon in the chili than to waste it by rinsing it in the sink. So, there we go. Now we're going to have just a couple of pieces of corn in our chili, but that's okay. It is raw batter, so I want to make sure that I mix it in really, really well. And then I'm going to take the pan out of the oven, fill it with the cornbread mixture, and put that back in the oven for, let's see if I have it written down here. I'm not good with putting times. You bake things in the oven until you can smell them cooking from 2 rooms away. So if you're 2 rooms away and you start to smell your cake, that's a good time to jump up and go and check it. Get a toothpick, insert it into the center, pull it out. If it comes out clean, then it's done. Same thing with cornbread. So anyway, there's the recipe again if you need it. With my little extra instructions on the side. Put the 1/3 cup of butter into the pan. Anyway, so I'm going to pause the video while I do that real quickly, and then I'll come back when everything's coming together. But you can actually see, let me see if I can get this close up. That cornbread really kind of like thickened up the juice. But as it sits and cooks a little more, it's going to continue to thicken up. But at least it's now like, it's not soup anymore. Now it's going into being chili. All right. Okay, so I took my pan out of the oven, and I want to just show you like I don't know if this is going to really come across, but I'm going to pour this batter into the pan. As I let it sit, it like formed a whole bunch of bubbles, and it kind of built its own little volume. And you don't want to mix again, just want to gently let this fall into the pan, so that way you're saving all of that volume, so you get like a fluffier texture to your cornbread. Does that make sense? Anyway, put it all into the pan, spread it into the corners. There's going to be, I wish I could show you this, there's going to be like butter sloshing all around, and it's brown butter, so it's not exactly appealing looking, but believe me, it tastes a whole lot better than it looks. And I'm just going to kind of like smear some of that butter that's spilling over onto the top so that it'll go across the top. And you'll also notice that your cornbread is kind of cooking already on the sides because the pan is super hot. that's great. You want to kind of form a crust. I don't know, some people are probably just, they will only do it in a cast iron skillet. I think cast iron skillets are just a little bit of a pain in the ass for me, so I just don't know how to clean them properly. I know that you can look it up on YouTube, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to put that back in my oven at 400 degrees until I can smell it from 2 rooms away. Maybe I'll come back and check on it in about 20 minutes because this is kind of a thin pan. It's not going to take very long to cook, but there you go. There is the, whoa, I spilled a little bit of butter. That's okay. Okay, this is the point where you want to, like, you know, taste for seasoning. And remember I said, like, I usually use about a tablespoon of the seasoning for every 1 pound of meat, and I had almost 4 pounds, but I only put 3 tablespoons. I could use just a little bit more seasoning. And even though it is my family, I don't really put my mouth back on a thing when I'm done using it. So, I mean, when I put something in my mouth after I've been cooking, if I'm going to cook a big batch, I don't put it back. So, almost a full tablespoon extra. Actually, I can use this to stir it. And now, for video purposes, voila, it's done. But actually, I'm going to probably go and let this cook for another hour because I was just trying to rush along showing you the different steps. So, let me see, maybe I'll pause when the cornbread comes out. Yeah, because when the cornbread comes out, I'm just going to go right to bed. So, cornbread, you take it out, you cut it up, you eat it, and you love it. Put butter on it. Actually, you know how to make a poke cake? When you finish baking the cake, you poke holes all over the top of it, and then you pour some kind of pudding in there. Well, with the cornbread, you could do the same thing where you poke a bunch of holes with like a toothpick, and then I would spread a dab of butter all over so that it kind of goes down into the holes, the butter. That's good. So, I'm stopping the video here. The chili ends up turning out really good. I promise you're going to thank me if you try this recipe. Please let me know if you try this recipe. Like, I don't normally ask for likes or comments or anything like that, but if you do try this recipe, I really want to know how it turned out, if you did it right or if something went wrong, or if you think it's garbage, and or if you changed something about it. You know, you can make this vegetarian by just using the meatless meat or the like tofu or something like that. Whatever. So, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.